Hey guys, this is Grecia and my husband Hugh, the man that got me into One Piece. And we just watched the One Piece live action on Netflix and we are so hyped about it. We cannot stop talking about it. So we decided to make a review for you guys on our comments, the things that we loved, the things that we disliked, even though that's a short list. We went in watching it without comparing it to the manga or the anime. We decided to consider it as an independent story, so that way we go in with a more optimistic and enthusiastic point of view instead of like very critical and comparing it to the anime and manga, because I think that's where it can get really messy. All right, let's just start with the Straw Hats first of all. So we got Iñaki as Luffy, which, oh my god, it was phenomenal. Orgullo Mexicano. So I'm kind of biased on that because I already love the actor, but I think it was a phenomenal Luffy. I think he portrayed like the goofiness, the silliness, the enthusiasm, and he was like always smiling and grinning and cheery. And I don't know, I think he was like a perfect Luffy.
Yeah, I honestly don't think they could have found a better person to play Luffy. He pulled off the character extremely well. It's hard to play that character. Luffy is like a very manga, like anime style character, and he's very goofy and airheaded, and it's hard to pull that off in live action. But I think the way that they went with Luffy, Iñaki playing the character, was as well done as you could have asked for.
And then, of course, we have the world favorite Zoro, your favorite character. Oh my god, I think it was phenomenal. He portrayed that like very like serious vibe, and it's like carefree, like cool, edgy, maybe a little too edgy for pre-time skip Zoro. I don't know, what do you think? I know that Zoro has like those moments in the manga or in the anime where he's like more like angry or like emotional about things, but I think it wouldn't have made sense on the live action to have like that energy.
I think the way that he played Zoro is how he should have played Zoro. So obviously I think there's a difference between an anime character declaring their allegiance to their captain in a very serious manner, and sometimes in live action that can come off as awkward or cringe even a little bit. I still think the serious moments where Zoro is like, you are my captain and I'm going to do everything I can to help you become the Pirate King and we can reach our dreams and everything like that. As a fan coming from the anime and the manga, you appreciate that they kept those moments in and kept that character as serious as he was. And I think Zoro did what's his name? The guy who plays Zoro?
McKenna.
Yeah, McKenna. I think McKenna did a really good job at portraying Zoro. I think he's one of my favorite characters in the live action for sure.
And now we got our cat
Burglar.
I can never say that word.
That's a hard word.
Nami, and I think she was everything I expected. She was like wanting to be like the mother of the crew, like being like, you shouldn't really do that, like shut up, like you know you're ruining the plan, like you cannot just like barge in and do this and that. Like, she's a woman with a plan, with a strategy, you know, obviously she's the smartest one, so it's really funny seeing her struggle trying to like keep up with like Luffy's energy and like everything. And those like little moments between Zoro, Nami and Luffy were like the side eyes and being like, no, we're not doing this or stuff like that, was like phenomenally executed. Obviously in the anime you have more of a angry Nami, like yelling at them and like, you know,
punching their heads,
yeah. Exactly, getting like super upset. Yeah. And here like Emily Root made Nami more like a little more cool and chill and like more analytical. Yeah, so but I love it. Then again, comparing it to the manga is really unfair based on the personalities. It'll come off really childish and loud, so I think it really portrayed Nami's personality really, really well. She just looks like her. It's insane. It's beautiful. I love it. It was phenomenal.
I don't really have much to add to that with Nami. She's did a really good job. Especially once you get towards the later half of the live action, when you really get to see her character develop, and obviously the help me moment was like incredible.
And then we have Usopp, which I think you have more commentary on Usopp, so I'm gonna let you go first.
I like the guy who plays Usopp. I think he did a really good job. Is it Jacob? Is that his name?
Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob, the guy who plays him. I think he's almost too cool to play an Usopp character, but I think he still does a really good job at like the goofy, funny moments. Yeah. He's trying to act really cool. That right there was like perfect for me. Overall, I can't really complain too much about the performance.
Yeah, I think especially he was definitely more like cool and chill about a lot of things, but the way he lied and he went about things where he was telling stories like, oh yeah, I'm the bravest and all of that, I think that was like really cool, and it was really like it was very Usopp moments for me, and I think he did a great job. And then like pretending like, oh yeah, I never doubted you were gonna be okay. Sure, I was never scared. Like that is like very Usopp like vibes, and I think he portrayed it perfectly. And well, before we get to Sanji, besides all of these, like the outfits were phenomenal as well. I just want to point that out. The way they dressed and everything was like exactly as the anime, and it didn't look like a cosplay. It actually looked like legit clothes. So I think they did a phenomenal job on that. Moving on to Sanji. My boy, you're a Zoro fan, I can be a Sanji fan, you know?
That's fair.
That's fair. Oh my god, as soon as he was on screen, I was like, oh, it's so good. Like, the way he portrayed Sanji was incredible. The way he behaves, a little like flirty. So I know that there was an interview with Taz said that Sanji in the live action was gonna be more of a flirt and not much of a perv, which I appreciate, and it was a great addition, because I think if he was a perv, it would have come off like really weird for the majority of the audiences, that especially if you're not like familiar with One Piece, it would be like awkward and confusing. I think the way he did the flirty things and how he's like a total simp for women and everything, and like the scene where they're ordering things and like he's offering Nami all of these like special things, and then the rest of the Straw Hats are just like mocking her like, oh, you have a new boyfriend and whatever. Like I think that was like really cute. It was definitely an acceptable introduction to Sanji's character, so I really like that.
Sanji for me was great. I think he had one of the strongest acting performances. Him and Zeff, the dynamic, you know, together, I think is as spot on for the translation from, you know, the manga anime to the live action was perfect. Like I had no complaints. Every time that Sanji and Zeff were on screen, I was like smiling ear to ear, and it was just like, this is so good. This is so perfect. Taz is a great actor. I think he's borderline perfect. Like you can't really ask for a better, you know, cast from that. I will say the only thing, it's not even so much of a complaint as it's something that I noticed was slightly different about the Sanji character, is that he at times felt more friendly than Sanji it came off in the anime and the manga.
Yeah,
to characters like not so much Zoro, obviously, you know, they have their banter, so that was perfect. But you know, he was more friendly to like Usopp, I feel like, and maybe some of the other characters. But I still think he played it, you know, he knocked it out of the park. Those character moments between Zeff and Sanji were, like I said, were, you know, perfect.
So obviously it was perfectly executed. Get it? The whole Goldie Roger execution scene, because it's exactly how it starts in the anime and the manga. It's like you start with Goldie Roger's execution. Actually, I didn't know that they were supposed to stab him on the back. I thought you get decapitated on the execution, but I love that they showed like all of the little Easter eggs. Well, not so much Easter eggs if you're a fan. Like you can see Dragon with the green cloak in the audience, and then you see little Shanks and all of the other characters. And then there's crazy theories that Crocodile was one of the women in the background too.
Next to Shanks.
So we'll see about that, but that was really funny. But yeah, I think that scene was just insane. It felt very piratey. It felt really intense. The music was incredible. Like the sets, everything was just like fantastic. We were already like grinning ear to ear watching all of that scene.
So now we can move on to the whole Garp and Koby storyline throughout the story. Obviously, that's not really in the manga or the anime. However, I think that gave a lot more of a sense of tension to the story, and also added to the fact that the Marines are, you know, hunting pirates. You get a bunch of those moments with Koby and Garp kind of figuring out his brand of justice, and that's something that like you don't even know about until like the recent stuff.
I don't think you even see Koby after Alvida, and you don't see him later on until what, like Marineford?
Yeah, Koby is like
Koby is like
early...
literally gone throughout
gone.
the entire series. But I would say like I guess it like kind of makes sense, because like it's Kobe is literally like Luffy's contrast like in the Marine world. Like he wants to be king of pirates, he wants to be like a Marine, but like the good one, right? So like I think that was really wholesome that they added Kobe's character more into it, and I am obsessed with Kobe's character. He's so precious, like oh my god. I was like, he's so cute.
He plays the part really well.
Oh my god, he's like the perfect Kobe. So and I also think that I'm speaking because like my parents are watching the live action and they have no idea about One Piece. So I think if you are someone that doesn't watch One Piece, like the anime or the manga, I think it gives you a better like explanation what the roles of the Marines are in this world. Because early on in One Piece, it's just about the pirates, and like occasionally like the Marines will show up and like try to like stop the pirates from doing doing whatever, but you don't really see much of the Marines until later on. So I think it was a good way to like explain how the power system works, the warlords with Mihawk and all of that. So I think it was good that they explained that earlier on for people that are not familiar with the One Piece story.
So then we have Shanks' character. I think the guy that played him, obviously another one that was really well portrayed. You get even more of a very like traditional piratey vibe from his crew. I really like that aspect of it. The way that young Luffy and Shanks interact is, you know, that's pretty much the story. It's perfect. You see how Luffy develops into wanting to be a pirate and the lessons that he learned from Shanks. The action scenes with Shanks and his crew, I think, are great. Obviously, they're a little bit different than they were portrayed early on, but it's
I really like how Shanks just points his gun at the bandit, and then behind like Lucky Roo just like shoots the guy in the head. That was so good. I mean, obviously in the manga it's just like suddenly it's like but it was so good. What do you think about Ben Beckman? Because people were like he looks a little different. He looks a little different, but that's all right. I think he's still like kind of pulls off that Ben Beckman vibe. Like I think he played the character well. And there's not really much to go off of early on anyway. And like aesthetically speaking, like he's not even supposed to be like attractive. Like you know what I'm saying? Like so I have no oppositions to the character. I think he did just fine. It was good. So one of the scenes I liked the most was early on when Helmeppo was introduced as a character when he met Zoro in the bar and then fight broke out. That fight was incredible. The choreography there, first of all, was incredible. I think every fight scene that involved Zoro was so incredibly choreographed, and I was like, that's Zoro shit right there. That's perfect. Like, true. Specifically Helmeppo, I want to go back to his character because I did not expect to enjoy Helmeppo's character as much as I did in live action. He was one of my favorite parts of the live action, and I hate him in the anime. Like he's like nothing. He's like an insect to me in the anime or the manga. He's such a hateable character. He is, and in the show I adored him. Every time he was in screen, I was like, give me more of Helmeppo. Like he's really funny. And he was like a dick in the live action too. He was one of the only characters in the live action that looked so goofy when his expressions were so cartoonish. And I was like, wow, like this guy's nailing Helmeppo, and I was like, and like it's perfect. The hair and everything is flawless. Like he is Helmeppo. I also love that the reason his hair became like a bowl cut was because of Zoro. Like when he was playing with a sword, like naked. Bear's naked in the that was really funny. That scene was hilarious. Did not expect that to happen at all, but that was really funny. I enjoyed it. I know some people are like, why the hell is he naked? It's like, I honestly don't care. That was really funny. Honestly. It was like something Helmeppo would have done. Exactly. He was like so vain and like into himself. So like he could have definitely be doing that stuff like privately 100%. So I didn't mind that. I think that was like really in character in my opinion. Well, Captain Morgan was really fantastic too. Like it was brief, but he portrayed the character perfectly, like really aggressive. The outfit was insane, the little like mouth thingy, I don't know what it's called, but that was really good. And that fight scene as well, like in the area where Zoro was tied up, was like ridiculously good. It was just like really good, like choreographed, and like with Luffy and Zoro fighting together and everything. It was so good. I also want to mention the office of Vaxan Morgan was one of the best like sets in the early in the early live action episodes as well, because the paintings on the walls were like incredibly well done. I don't know who painted those, but they need a raise. We forgot to mention that also. I was really surprised with like Zoro's encounter with Mr. Seven. Honestly, I don't remember if that even happens or when that happens, but the fact that he cuts him in half just like that, I was not expecting that at all. I was like, I thought it was gonna be like more like, censored, I guess. I don't know how to say it, but the fact that he just like cut it in half and you just see like, it was like, okay, we're getting bloody, we're getting real. So that was pretty epic. That was a really cool Zoro moment, honestly. It was hype. It was hype, exactly. It was like, oh, how do we hype up the Zoro character? Cut a guy in half. It's fine. So then obviously we have Buggy the Clown, Burpee, Boogie, Burpee, I also love that they kept like Luffy's unawareness of people, that is like, if he doesn't care about the person, he's gonna like misname them all the time and put nicknames. I think that was hilarious and so in character. You gotta keep that. But back to Buggy. I think the actor played a phenomenal role, like so on point. This is Buggy, like just out there like bombastic and like talking all the time and trying to be funny and trying to make everybody laugh at his jokes, like just being the center of attention, not sharing the spotlight, like everything was so good, and the finger flipping and all of that, it was so funny. And I love these special effects of the chop fruit, how he got like separated. I think they handled that pretty well, and it looked really good, honestly. Like I did not expect it to look that high quality. We saw a lot of Buggy throughout the show, so we don't see him we only see him in Orange Town on the anime, and then we don't see him again until Impel Down. So definitely a lot of Buggy. I guess he was a favorite.
I know Oda and his team had a hand in this, so I think if Oda wanted to go back and rewrite the beginning of the story, he probably would have put Buggy in a lot more scenes, because he's probably, I think he's his favorite character. So
I think it is.
Yeah. So I'm sure Oda was like, we could probably fit him into more of the live action. And they don't want to waste the perfect character design like that. And like, of course, the way they weaved him into the story too,
it made sense.
It
was good.
It was really pulled off really well. I think they did that throughout the entire live action, weaving in different storylines and making it make more sense.
Well, same with Mihawk versus Don Krieg. Like, you know, in the anime, Luffy's supposed to fight Don Krieg, and here they just wrapped it up and we're like, no, actually Mihawk did entirely destroy his fleet, no survivors except the guy. I forget his name. The guy that walks into Baratier for food.
Yeah, I forget it. You can look it up real quick.
Wait, you guys know what I'm talking about.
It was actually almost like basically an off-screen in the manga where Mihawk fought Don Krieg and kind of like wrecked all of his ships and in the Grand Line, and then that's when they fled the Grand Line, came back to Baratier and wanted to get food because of their journey. But I think it makes more sense
it does.
in the live action that Mihawk just completely wiped them out.
Because Don Krieg's fight was really long, so it would have been like a whole nother like season basically to do that.
You would need another episode.
Exactly, and it's not that important. He's not that important. And I did not expect them to go that hard with Mihawk's like slash attack. That was so clean. And it looked like so like epic anime situations that we were looking for, the things that we want to see, like these special attacks. Same with Garp throwing the cannonballs, like, oh, that was so good.
All those anime moments were so well done. So well done.
It was so well done, like impeccable. So I guess like same that they did with Buggy, like putting him in through the story in places that he's not originally in. I guess that's kind of like the same thought process that they went with Arlong and Arlong Pirates, because the anime is a whole nother thing, like Nami leaving and like with Yasuke and Johnny. Is that his name? I always forget.
Yasuke and
Johnny?
Yeah, I think so.
So that would have been also another whole introduction of characters. So like it would have been like adding more time. So I think it was good that they wrapped it up that way. I think it was epic that the Fishmen like barged into Baratier and were, you know, fighting there and everything. So it was like kind of like Luffy's round one with Arlong absolutely getting, you know, wrecked. And we kind of see Luffy drowning. It was not, you know, how it was supposed to be in the anime, but it was also a good scene because Sanji saves Luffy in Baratier as well from drowning. So it was an important scene, and I'm glad it happened. It didn't happen exactly as a storyline in the anime, but it still happened, and I think it was still like very impactful and important scene to do. So I think it was good the way they handled the whole thing, like Arlong showing up, getting the map, getting Nami back, and Nami being like, I was always an Arlong pirate, like I was just like fooling you guys, peace out, whatever. And then they see like, okay, something's wrong, let's go rescue her. And then you have the boys going over to rescue Nami. So I think that was cool. What do you think about the Fishman design?
So obviously they didn't go the big budget route, like the Marvel route of kind of making of making every character like CGI'd. I do like the way that they went with a more like natural like prosthetics, you know, and masks and that kind of thing. I think it still works with One Piece live action because it's like goofy and over the top, and you're like, these guys look ridiculous, but in the world that we're in, it makes sense.
It makes
because
sense.
That's just how it is.
But I think they did a phenomenal job. Like I think the makeup and everything was really good in my opinion.
Well,
like it was really good. Like it looked scary and they looked different and they looked like, you know, fish.
Yeah, the Fishmen, you know, had that like wet, like scaly skin, and I think the way that they did that was really well done. The character designs were like crazy and like larger than life. And I know some people didn't really like the Arlong design. It was kind of like, you know, the nose is weird and everything, but I think it looked good for what it was. I enjoyed it. People were like, oh, he's not as like intimidating because he's not as big, but like, you know, you're using like a real actor and he was still intimidating in my opinion.
I was gonna say what was intimidating was like the deepness of his voice and how he sounded and everything, and his laughter. I think that was like, besides the makeup and whatever, I think the way he performed the character was like very like Arlong-y, like very like deep, scary. I think that was really good. Was the guy that Usopp's fight with the... I think the design and the performance was perfect. He was like sassy and like, oh, don't touch my face, like, and stuff like that. And the whole scene with Usopp and the fake blood, like, it's like he's just randomly carrying a ketchup bottle on his bag. So that's the goofiness in One Piece. Like, why would Usopp have in his little bag a bottle of ketchup? And then like he's drinking alcohol, he just throws his like star and like explodes, and then he's just like just dead on the woods. Like, that was hilarious. And then he runs back and Sanji and Zoro deleted the entire Fishmen, and Usopp is like, oh, yeah, got it, guys, don't worry.
And yeah, speaking of that fight, we have the Sanji and the Zoro dynamic where, you know, they're all fighting together against the Fishmen, and they're just absolutely owning the Fishmen too, which is obviously a little bit different from the story. They kind of get owned a little bit, and they're struggling really hard. Shows off kind of how confident and, you know, how well they work together. And then also, you know, the Sanji Zoro banter was, you know, perfect, and that's exactly, you know, as a fan, what I wanted to see in the live action is like a different banter from the manga or the anime, but it still really works well in the live action, you know, the way that it's written. I think it's written even better, honestly.
I was gonna say, I think it's even funnier because, like, you know, Zoro and Sanji never call each other for their first names. Like, it's always like Mosshead and Cook.
Yeah, he said Mosshead.
But then Sanji did say Mosshead, but then Zoro didn't even say Cook. He went waiter, which is like even more insulting for Sanji. So I think that was perfect. He's like, why are we bringing the waiter? That was one of my favorite scenes. Oh my god. Okay, we kind of like just jumped all the way to Arlong Park, and we completely ignored all of Usopp's story and like Kuro and the Black Cat Pirates. But so just really quickly, like, that was really good. I think Kuro was phenomenal. Like, Klahadore was really well played. Like, he played the role of like the super nice butler that just takes care of Kaya and like his whatever, and like the whole like glasses thing is so good. It was like he played the character so perfectly, and I think it was phenomenal. And the other like cats, Sham and so many names, guys. Okay, the other two cats. I think those were like so good too. And I forgot how ridiculous they actually were, that when I saw the outfits on the live action, I had to go back in the manga, and they're actually like that. It's insane.
The cape and the mask. The Batman mask.
So now I'm like, when my parents get to that part, they're gonna be like, the hell's going on? But I'm just gonna have to like send them pictures of how the anime is and be like, please don't judge me, this is exactly how they look like. They're not that ridiculous just because they want to be. I will say though, it's kind of sad that Quina is, Quina died to falling down the stairs, and then there's a scene of Sham, the black cat woman, falling down the stairs, and she survives that. So, like,
well, they didn't say she fell down the stairs in the live action. There was an accident. They were like, I don't think we can say she died from falling down the stairs.
Because then I'm like, I was analyzing where they fight and everything, and I'm like, there's literally like 2 steps, or like, where are the houses?
Where are the stairs at?
Where are the 2-story houses? Where are they? There's no stairs. How did she fall down the stairs? Like, so I think it was good that they said an accident. Speaking kind of like on that topic, like, I think the backstories were so good, like the childhood flashbacks, like, well, obviously we kind of talked about Luffy's one already, and just the whole scene, like, you know, Luffy crying, like, you gave up your arm, and he was like, it's just an arm. That was really funny. Just an arm, no big deal.
I don't need that.
And then the whole like straw hat thing, like, you know, give it back to me when you become a great pirate. Like, it was just so beautiful. There's Zoro's backstory too, like fighting Quina, and she's like, you will always become better than me because I'm a woman and all that. Like, it's just exactly as it happens in the story. You got Usopp like saying the pirates are coming because he wants Yasop to come back. So like all of those like backstories were phenomenal. And Sanji's, I think I cried more on the live action Sanji's backstory than in the anime and manga. They're all the same story, same brutality, same everything. But I just think there's obviously like a different feeling when you see an actual real little boy with sunburns and like struggling and crying and asking for help, and the ship doesn't come, and it's just
more relatable.
Right. And then you have Zeff, like in the anime, he's just like a giga chat, he's just tanking it, like I ate my legs, no big deal. But then here you can see his face, like he's like suffering, like he's actually like, you need to live on because you have the same dream as me. I was like, oh my god. I cried my eyes out. It was so
really emotional,
so well executed. Oh my gosh. And then Nami's, oh my gosh, with Belmare, like that was perfect too. Like it's exactly as it happens. It's like 100,000 berries per head, and then he's like, oh, there's 3 plates, and it's like, spare my kids, and he's like, she just turns around, is like, you know, I love you, I will always be your mother, whatever, and just shoots her straight in the head in front of them. I was like, oh my god, brutal. Like brutal, but that's exactly how it happens. Like it was so well. I did not think that they were gonna pull through like with the story exactly like that. It was so good.
Going back to Zeff real quick, I just want to talk about a little bit about his character and, you know, how he kind of interacted with Garp. I think that interaction where they were having dinner together and like whining and dying, you know,
steak.
The steak,
raw steak.
Raw steak.
More raw than medium.
It's such like, you know, old man, you know, kind of shit. I love the way that they interacted, and they're like, oh, there's one guy who's like retired pirate from like the previous era. And I also do really like that they mentioned the whole the new era has begun.
The new generation.
Yeah, they kind of let Zeff take on that responsibility of like saying it's their time now, and you're gonna have to let go of your grandson and let him do his thing. The way that they interact is really good. And also with Garp, I think that at first I was a little bit iffy on the portrayal of the character. From what I know about Garp in the anime, he's never really that serious.
He's always like grinning.
You know, he's always smiling. He can like have a temper, which they did show really well, where he like destroyed the office when Luffy got away the first time. And you're like, oh yeah, that's Garp. And then he laughed after that, and I was like, thank you for laughing finally, because like
hysterical
so
laugh, like maniac.
The maniac laugh was so good. I think the way that he portrays Garp's laugh is also like spot on. Like that's the performance of like that laugh. I was waiting for that laugh to come the whole time, and I was like, why is Garp being this serious? Like I don't remember him being this serious. But then eventually his character starts to develop more into that joking Garp figure, where he like doesn't give a shit what the other Marines, you know, say. And he even mentioned, he was like, why do you think I'm still a vice admiral?
Right, like why do you think I don't want to like get higher?
I don't want to answer to those top guys. And you're like, okay, that was a great way to develop his character a little bit more. Garp and Mihawk's connection was also really cool. I like the way that they kind of communicated through like the earpieces, like the Denden Mushi earpieces.
Oh, that was really cute.
You can see that Mihawk will answer the call and be like, oh, I'm kind of bored right now, I guess I could go do that. And obviously he's not really gonna follow the direct orders from Garp, and you see him just betray those orders because he met Zoro and was like, I kind of like this guy. I think he's gonna be good.
And he also said like, you know, you're interesting pirate like Luffy. Like I want to see how you develop out there in the sea. So like he's just like, I'm gonna let you live because I want to. And I want to see what you do.
They put those really important character moments that you don't see until Marineford, where you see Mihawk discussing like, oh, Luffy is like a different kind of guy. Like that's the most dangerous power in the world, is when you have someone follow you throughout your journey, so that you can kind of get an idea of like, oh, this Mihawk guy is kind of mysterious and really powerful, and like
it was good that they respected that moment to be Mihawk's. I think the character design on Mihawk was fantastic. It was perfect. The eyes, the beard and the mustache and everything. And then I saw this thing on Twitter that he talks in cursive, and I thought that was so funny because he does. He's like these like, and that's exactly how I picture like Dracul Mihawk, as like a very gothic kind of like story. Like almost like English British kind of like looking vampire kind of stuff. So like that's exactly how he was played by the actor. So I think that was just fantastic.
No complaints about his performance.
No, and awesome. I love that he actually pulled like the dagger sword from his necklace, and that's how he fought Zoro. It was like
when you first see him, you see like the cross on his chest, and I saw like this little line on the cross, and it was like, please. I
mean, it's
pull out
gigantic.
The dagger.
Like it's a big like cross, so you're like, this is not just a gold cross.
This ain't no normal cross.
No.
Yeah, that was
and
awesome.
the scar that he leaves on Zoro, that was really well executed. It looks so realistic. I think the whole like Luffy having faith in Zoro waking up and Zoro proving his loyalty further, that I will always follow you, I will always be your first mate. I saw people complaining that why all of a sudden like Zoro decides to like trust Luffy. It's like it happens so sudden, and it's like you have to like read back in the story, and like literally since day one, since they met, like he literally decided to follow Luffy, be loyal to him only, and it happens early on in the story. So like it makes sense that it's not out of the blue. You can see those little interactions of Zoro realizing who his captain is and him deciding like, I want to follow this guy. I think that was such a Luffy and Zoro moment, and it was totally canon and realistic. I mean, I know there's definitely more stuff that needs to be discussed, but I don't want to like drag these on further. I do love that they ended like the last episode with a grand feast, because that is the One Piece way of ending an arc, with a grand feast, with Sanji cooking for everyone. And then I really love the little like flirty with Nojiko, and he was like, I can offer you private lessons. And it was like, he's like, nice try. And then Zoro coming back for seconds and everything, and not admitting that he likes his cooking. It's like, shut up, whatever. And then Usopp telling like how he single-handedly like defeated Arlong pirates, and like just telling, and then Luffy, yeah, yes, go Captain Usopp, he did everything, we could have done it without you. Like that is so canon. Like I love it. Then you have the actual Straw Hat Jolly Roger like, you know, veiled down on the ship, and it was like, oh, I got goosebumps. It was so beautiful, like so, it was so perfect. The food on the barrel thing, and everyone saying their dream, and then merging it with the childhood like flashback. That was perfect. That was cinema.
That was one of my favorite moments of like the whole thing, was finishing the sentence with when they were kids, switching back and forth between that, and I was like, wow, that blew me away. Like when they did that, I was like, that's how you really like make it like hard hitting and emotional.
Yeah,
right,
because it's like it's your childhood dream, like so what you wanted to do all this time, and you are closer to achieving it.
Yeah.
And then you have your crew, your friends that will be there for you, like to help you fulfill those dreams. No one is stepping on anyone's toes. Like we're all getting together to fulfill all of our dreams, and I think it was just beautiful.
Yeah, beautifully well done.
It's
yeah.
so good.
I think that's one of the strongest parts of like early One Piece is when they show what all their dreams are, and that they're on a crew together. All their dreams kind of will come together, and they can achieve their dreams as a team, as a family. It's a really strong way to end it as well, because it makes you really invested in their characters, and you want to see what happens. You want to see them achieve their dreams as an audience member. So I think they ended it really strong.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, overall, I know like everyone is entitled to their own opinion. I know there's gonna be people that are absolutely gonna hate on it. There's people that are gonna love it. There's people that are gonna be like, oh, it was okay. Personally, I loved it. I really loved it. I will definitely binge it again. I am very curious to see it with like the Japanese dub with the original like voice actors. But I really enjoyed it. I really hope that there's more seasons in the future, and I feel like there will, because like they ended it with Smoker putting his cigar on the bounty, so like it kind of implies that they're gonna go to Lockdown and do all of the other arcs following up. So I'm really curious about that. I'm really curious what they're gonna do about Chopper. I'm really curious what they're gonna do about Robin and all of that. So we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe this was just like a standalone season 1 and that's it, which I would be totally fine with too. Like it was fantastic. It was beautifully executed, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's number 1 in like 84 countries or something. Worldwide number one. So it's like, I know haters gonna hate, but like the numbers speak for itself.
Yeah. I agree. Pretty much exactly my thoughts. It's not perfect. I think it is exactly as a lot of the fans wanted it to be. A lot of fans expected it to be good from what we saw early on. It lived up to the hype. I don't think it could have gotten any better as it did. But one of my favorite parts of the entire series was the care and dedication and passion that went into the set design, especially in like Kaya's mansion, in like the kitchen. It's so intricate and detailed that you can tell this entire project was filled with the most passionate people working on it. I'm extremely grateful that super fans like Matt Owens got to work on it and really like deliver what the fans want.
But yeah, we just wanted to talk a little bit about the show because we really enjoyed it. We were really passionate about it. And I do really hope that if you get to see the series, you see it with eyes of like passion and entertainment and nothing else. And because this is exactly what it is. It's just an entertaining series supposed to make you laugh and feel emotions, and that's exactly what it did for us. So I'm very grateful that we got to see it and experience it, and really looking forward for what's up next. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.